Alright, I'm live again. Hello. And I just found a person below lewd on Twitter that, well, I can't help but to screen grab because I'm a child. But actually, in the last couple of minutes, I found some interesting shit. So, well, I was looking at YouTube and saw something interesting. There's a channel I follow, Anton Petrov, who does science, outer spacey kind of stuff, and he's damn. There are gnats in my room, so I'm not grabbing at nothing. I promise I'm not a lunatic. Hey, PK.
Hello, how you doing? I mean, aside from all things considered.
I mean, I'm still in pain, but my head at least is feeling a little loopy. Not, beer helps.
Yeah.
A lot. But actually, I was just talking about this YouTube video. I didn't get to watch it, but I saw the thumbnail. Apparently, on the International Space Station, they successfully created a fifth state of matter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really can't wait to watch that. That looks fucking interesting. Anton Petrov, that's the channel.
Let me see.
It looks spectacular. I've been watching his shit for a while now.
Petrov?
Yeah, Petrov.
Yeah.
Yep.
State of matter. Yep, I see it there. I'm gonna add it to my queue and put it in my watch later in case I don't get to it.
Yeah, I need to see that. This dude, he makes some excellent content. I love his science
Dark
shit.
matter experiments. That looks interesting.
Seriously, check out his channel. It's awesome.
Now give him a sub, and when he pops up, I'll add him to my lists. You know, my watch later list is 712 videos right now.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's all Shannon's fault. Not really, but like every time I get to one of her videos, I'm like, I really want to watch this, but it's an hour. Skip. So the first 9 things on my fingers is like ContraPoints, Shannon Q, ContraPoints, Torben Sundergaard, The Line, and it's just all of the stuff keeps bunching up at the end with the. It's like when I was following Non Sequitur Show and they were doing 9 streams a week, and I would just keep skipping their stuff to get to something that was shorter so I could watch 4 things instead of 1.
Yeah.
That, and with all the shit that's been going on, I've just been watching Animal Crossing and Minecraft videos. Just like nothing.
I don't get Minecraft.
I get more enjoyment actually out of watching it. Excuse me. I get more enjoyment out of watching the videos than playing the game because I don't like playing solo. But they just had a major update with Minecraft, and so Hopswatch plays Minecraft. We have a server that we play on together. And once the server hoster that we have updates to 1.16, we're going to go in there and we're going to give ourselves some good gear and we're going to spend some time exploring this new update, which is all the hellscape of the Nether, which looks interesting. But yeah, I end up watching these things called Hermitcraft. It's a Minecraft server with multiple players on it, and they've all got 1 million-ish subs. And I just watch them play Minecraft instead of playing myself.
Well, so before you jumped in, I mentioned, the person below Lewd account on Twitter. Okay, I came across one that was fantastic. The person below says the person below wants to be licked all over. And directly below it is Nervardia saying it's a treadmill without the tread. I'm sorry, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yes, it is. It is.
There is literally nothing I can do about this situation. It has to happen. So pictures, screenshots, the image I want at Nervardia.
I love when they say something that's exactly like perfect from what the lewd below is saying.
Right? Oh my god, I've gotten so many of those. I've gotten at least 3 of them about myself. And I'm just like, well, all's fair in love and war. I have to post this.
Mm-hmm. I hate when I see a good one and it's by somebody that I'm not like not really friends with. Like there's a perfect one and then the person it's like AOC is the one underneath it and I'm like, no way in hell am I doing that.
Yeah, it's like, no, I actually like AOC. I mean, I do, but it's like, oh, come on. Or it's like Huffington Post or some shit like that. And it's like, well, you kind of fucked it for me, didn't you? Because person below lewd is perfect, and you're over here just like, this is news. But yeah, I sent out plenty of invites to the stream. It's just a matter of will people hop in or not? Because there was some interest, when the thing ended. But so what's life for PK like lately?
I've been on vacation, so I've just been sitting at home playing video games and cleaning.
I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm looking forward to a few days now to when I can have that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
for
had
the
taken
people who are watching, feel free to ask, and I'll send you the link to join.
I had requested Friday through Tuesday off for Faithless Forum. Which is supposed to be this past weekend, and then since that got postponed, I was just like, you know what? I'm still going to take the time off. They've already taken the vacation hours away from me, so
might as well.
Yeah.
Stupid not to. I mean, well, see, here's the thing, right? With the job that I recently just turned in my notice for, I've been there for 7 months. You want to know how much paid vacation time I've accrued?
How much?
Fucking goose egg.
Ugh. Yeah.
I don't understand how that's possible, but I've accrued none.
Are they one of those places that don't let you have vacation time until you've been there for a year?
That's entirely possible, and it's also entirely unacceptable to me.
Yeah. I know my employer is one of those that like, you have to be there for a year before they're going to start giving you paid time off. Or maybe they changed it and you accrue it for the first year, but you don't have access to it until the next year. Something like that. Like you earn it, and then at the beginning of the next year you're given all that vacation time that you can then use for that next year. And then while you're working, you start incurring more as well. I'm not 100% sure. I've been there for so long that I just have vacation time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't help that people actually working there is kind of chaotic. I mean, in the 7 months I've been there, there have been about 5 or 6 different people that just started working and then abruptly quit. Like they just never showed up again.
Oh. Yeah, that happens with a lot of places.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah, and it's a convenience shop, so it's even worse because there's like a total of 8 people that work there over 3 shifts.
Yikes.
Yeah. So if one person calls off, everybody is screwed. But But if third person calls off, everybody wants to die.
Yikes! Yeah.
Yeah, and for that 3 days in the hospital, I was the reason everybody wanted to die for 3 days.
Yeah, but that's like legitimate.
Yeah, no, I was in intractable pain.
No, I understand, but like, I work in retail too, and one of those things that's been pissing me off is that since my employer has decided to say, you know what, fuck our attendance policy. If you don't feel like coming into work because you don't feel safe, stay home. Like literally, like I could skip. Well, if I skip more than 2 days, I have to go on a leave. But like if I just decide that I don't want to go to work on Friday when I go back to work, I can just call out, and as long as I say that it's because of COVID-19, they won't give me any kind of occurrence. I'm not the kind of person that's going to do that because that'll fuck over everybody else. But I have this one coworker who's been doing it every single Sunday. Like she doesn't work on Saturdays. So she goes off on Saturday, then she calls out on Sunday, works on Monday, and then gets Tuesday off. And so for like 4 days in a row, it's like crazy because it's just me and this one little I'm not naming his race because it's terribly important, but he's Ethiopian and he understands English, but he doesn't speak it. So, we're at the front of the store. People are coming in trying to ask, are the carts clean? What time do you close? And he can't communicate with them very well. And it ends up leaving him to do our job by himself, which ends up causing people coming in the door to have an attitude because they couldn't ask him the questions that they wanted to ask before even entering the store. And then I feel bad for him because there's a lot of people that give him shit because, why don't you speak English? It's like, he's an 80-year-old man. Be lucky he can speak as much English as he can. Hello, Tria.
Hello.
Hey. It's been a minute, Bob. You hanging in there? I know you were just talking about pain. I was actually watching. I couldn't comment because my phone won't let me.
That's weird.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a button I could have pressed. I'm sure there was a button I could have pressed or something, but I couldn't find it.
No commenting for you.
Yeah, it was mean. And I was thinking about going to sleep, but I can't sleep. So, yay, insomnia.
Been there. I'm actually going to be helping a friend of mine who's been having issues with sleep. I'm going to be making, I don't want to say a schedule, but that's more or less what it's going to be. Because it's, starting about 2 hours before she intends to go to bed. Because sleep hygiene, as weird as it sounds, is actually a thing. And if you have poor sleep hygiene, you're going to sleep poorly.
Yes. The thing is,
I say this with some authority because I've spoken to 2 sleep specialists.
What is sleep hygiene? You'll have to talk about that.
You're supposed to do stuff like shut off your computer a certain amount of hours before you want to go to sleep. Is at least one of them.
Oops.
Yeah, you want to avoid blue spectrum lights. So computers and TV are kind of a no-no, and phones too. Because those wavelengths of light hit your eyes, go into your brain, and your brain's like, oh, the blue wavelengths, I need to stay awake because it's daytime. Try to skip out on screens before you go to sleep for a couple hours. Don't eat because your body wants to be at rest, and digestion of
not at rest.
Food is an active process, and that disrupts your sleep. So, it's that kind of thing. So if you want to relax before going to bed, read a book. I got a whole shitload right there.
Yeah, the problem is that even when I'm doing what I'm supposed to, stress overrides all of that bullshit.
Yeah.
I should probably be on medicines for some of the stuff that I'm dealing with.
I'm on medicines for this kind of stuff.
I mean, granted, there are nights where that does actually do something, and doing the sleep hygiene thing like I'm supposed to does, but that's not a guarantee with me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not a guarantee with really anyone. It's just, you know.
I must be
something
lucky.
odd.
Even at my most stressful times, I never had to do that kind of thing. But then, I was doing the thing where I was like basically running myself into the ground. Like I would stay up all night on video games and the computer until I was so tired that I would just fall asleep at the keyboard before going to bed. But that was during my unemployed time when I didn't have a schedule type situation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like
that's
I would.
where. Oh,
Oops.
go ahead.
It was like I would, um, be up until, oddly enough, 5 a.m, and then I would be so tired that I would just fall asleep and sleep until 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and just rinse and repeat. But since I didn't have a job, it didn't matter. And now I have a job that lets that sleep schedule be my work schedule. So
Yeah, I found out that when I was like doing at least once a week appointments with my little sister, I was actually keeping a daytime schedule, which is not actually my natural rhythm. I'm actually more of a night person. But I was able to keep it because we were going to doctor's offices. Now everything's been shot to hell and we're never leaving the house. And so, like, I'm trying to continue to be a daytime person, but there's not enough in the house that is forcing me to stay awake no matter, because I unfortunately have these modes where no matter how much I'm doing to stay active or keep myself awake, I'm going to fall over at any moment. And I cannot force myself to stay awake during those. I've tried, it winds up in injuries.
See, actually, as a weird way to connect this after party to the main stream, I forgot to mention. Maybe I forgot to mention. I don't remember. I've been drinking.
Oh no.
There were a few points where I was in so much pain I thought I was going to pass out.
Oof. Yeah, I figured it had to be that bad for you to be like, you know what, fuck it, I quit.
No. This is totally separate from that. It's the reason I decided to quit my job is because there's really no sense of a schedule. 2-day weekends or 2 days off in a row are almost non-existent for me.
Oh, that's.
And a week ago, when this next week's schedule came out, I originally had Friday and Saturday off. That's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been going on for the last 2 or 3 months. I've just had enough.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do it anymore.
Mark, routine would help if I could push myself a little bit more during those times, but there comes a point where I just cannot push myself anymore, and I am literally making myself sick to try to stay up.
See, I actually came across a YouTube video a couple of months ago, so the citations may be somewhat sketchy, but evolutionarily it makes sense that some people would be more nighttime oriented. Like me, I'm more of a second shift kind of person, a 3 to 10:30 kind of person, for a work schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you do is you have people that are awake during the day that do the hunting, gathering, all that fun shit. Then you have people that are up later at night that do the guarding to make sure no wild animals come into the camp to, kill everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like I have tried to put myself onto a routine, and sometimes it works, but sometimes I am just so fucking tired that there's no way I can stay up. And I try to push, especially trying to stay a daytime person, because there are things I really should be doing right now that are daytime. But because I don't have those doctor's appointments where I was like, okay, I absolutely have to stay up. It's really, really hard when I'm just stuck at home and no, I'm not going to go out around for a walk because I've tried that before. And if I'm only kind of a little bit tired, it helps. But if I'm about to go into, I really need to sleep, and I have a migraine now because I've forced myself to stay up, going on a walk's not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've never been able to maintain a normal schedule.
Hello, Perp.
Hi. Just going to refill my drink and I'll be right back with you.
There you go. And I'm assuming the Utah Outcast account is X.
Yeah,
And
I don't think it's ever not been X. Has it?
yeah, because I know Kyle and Felicia each have their own thing going on, so I'm guessing this is X.
Which Kyle?
English?
Because I know of like 3 different Kyles.
Yeah. The Utah Outcast edition of Kyle is Steamblick.
X says, never been anyone else. Got to protect that brand. Same here. Although my brand feels like it's dying because I'm struggling so badly to make videos and I can't fucking live stream.
Why can't you live stream?
Oh my God.
Fuck you. Because it takes it down 5 minutes in. Before I even do anything fucking controversial, it's like, no.
Wait, what?
Like, I'll be like, hi, how are all of you? How are you doing? And then like 5 minutes in, it'll be like, you've just broken community guidelines. And I was like, I just said, hi, how are you to my audience? And none of them have misbehaved yet. What the fuck?
Something sinky there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you might be getting spam botted or something. I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I mean,
false flags against your channel, whatever the word is.
why would, like, I wasn't even doing anything that would require false flags. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've pissed that many people. Oh, the Mormons haven't figured me out yet. I have successfully stayed away from Desnots. They exist. I know they exist. And they watch other people, but they have not come after me. Because when the Desnots come after you, you damn well fucking know it. You start getting pictures of Bowie knives underneath your Twitter, underneath your tweets.
Yikes.
Yeah. So no, I know I haven't pissed off the Mormons yet. Because the Desnots will find me first, and then regular Mormons. And most regular Mormons won't false flag you. Because if they false flag you, they can't leave the little comment under your video that says, oh my God, honey, come back to church. You've got to stop listening to those anti-Mormon lies. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, Tria's not exaggerating. I was in 2 of her streams that cut off by 4.5 minutes.
Is it your channel that's... I mean, I don't know what I was just trying to ask.
I don't have any problems with any of my other videos. None of my videos have been flagged. It was just the live streams.
I'm just wondering if it's... I don't even know how to word the thought.
Now, granted, it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since I've tried, and I try every couple of weeks. I get a friend to be like, hey, could you just watch this and see if it gets pulled down? And I get nowhere with it. So I'm not sure it's false flags. I'm wondering if it's just something else, like the bots being overzealous, something in my background, or maybe my tags.
Yeah, I would question the tags. And have you talked to other people that would use similar tags like, ace or asexual?
Maybe the next time, I have an idea. The next time you want to stream, DM me, hopefully on a Wednesday or Thursday or something, and you go ahead and try and stream. And if you get taken down, send me all the information that you put in your stream to start your stream, and I will redo the same thing and try and stream and see if the same thing happens to me.
Okay. And I know that it's partially, and I know that part of it is I'm also a small account. I really don't have that many. Huh?
YouTube doesn't really care about small accounts.
No, and that's part of it. And I'm wondering too, is if there was a theory going around, and it makes a lot of sense, was when everybody was under self-isolation and being told to stay home, there was a rise in people watching YouTube. And YouTube wound up having trouble with the site being slow. And instead of doing like updates and upgrades and things like that, which they have money for, some people were thinking that they were throttling smaller YouTube creators so that there was less traffic on the site, but they could still send traffic over to like their bigger viewerships or whatever.
Yeah, I ran into that in one of my streams too, and that was the theory that basically if the site was feeling like they didn't have enough bandwidth, they would just trash any live stream that had like less than 100 viewers.
And I mean, it makes sense,
right? I was gonna say it makes sense to do that, but they should at least be like, hey, if this happens, we have to do this because reasons.
Yeah, because see, the thing is that I got a BS email that said, "Hey, we took it down for a community strike, or not for violating our community standards." And I was like, one, there's no fucking way I did that yet, and two,
what standard did I violate?
And three, I violated community standards, but I didn't get a community strike. Which, thank you, I'm glad I didn't get the community strike. But that kind of tells me that you're pulling my stuff down just to pull it down and for bullshit reasons.
Yeah. And I kind of want to go back to the Bowie knife thing real quick, because I saw on Twitter earlier, there was, I don't know if anyone knows who Bubba Wallace is. He's a NASCAR driver. And the only reason I bring it up is because it inexplicably appeared on my feed, because I call it inexplicable because I don't give the first flying fuck about NASCAR. But the FBI, which became involved in the investigation after a noose was found in this guy's garage,
Yikes.
like his professional NASCAR garage, a noose was found in there. The FBI got brought in because supposedly there may have been a federal crime. The FBI concluded there was no federal crime committed. Now, I'm curious. When we think of a noose being placed somewhere specific, like, I don't know, a Black Lives Matter supporters professional garage, what else should we infer from that other than the potential threat of physical violence or death? Bearing in mind the purpose of the noose.
What you said, a Black Lives Matter supporter? Yeah,
Bubba Wallace, NASCAR driver. I recognize the name because he had Black Lives Matter on his car in one of his recent races.
Oh, okay.
Found a noose in his garage.
Yeah, that came up on my feed, but I hadn't read the whole thing.
Yeah. So, okay, I don't know how many people are familiar with this, but the noose is something that's pretty commonly used in white supremacist circles.
Mm-hmm.
For race traders or, black people. And this Bubba Wallace person would be a race traitor because he supports Black Lives Matter. Justifiably supports Black Lives Matter, by the way. Found a news garage. And the FBI concluded there was, hold on, let me get the quote totally right, no federal crime committed. Tell me, since when is a death threat not a federal crime?
Because when you're not big enough celebrity for them to care.
Yeah, like it should be, but right now, that's not what's happening, and it's shitty. It should be.
Yeah, no, because our government has found a way to be shittier than fucking McCarthyism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that I don't know, but I mean, death threats are a crime, but I don't think they're a federal crime.
They actually are. In fact, unfortunately, I personally did not go through this, but one of the aces that I know got a bunch of death threats over Twitter, and the harassment got so bad that they had the FBI investigate. And the FBI did investigate, but they determined for whatever reason that they weren't going to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is actually a federal offense to send a death threat to somebody. It's just sometimes there are times where it's a little bit difficult to pinpoint who sent it. But in this case, I don't think that that's why they didn't.
Yeah. Well, and it especially becomes a federal jurisdiction if they feel it has crossed state lines.
Yeah.
And we're talking NASCAR.
Outcast has a correction for me. The noose was found to be in the garage before Bubba went into it, so I'm wrong. I'm willing to cop to that. But still, it's a death threat. How is that not a federal crime? How is that not worth the Federal Bureau of Investigation investigating?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's out there.
On a related note, how is it that there have been 5 black people found hanged in 5 separate cities, and yet they conclude these were all suicides?
Because it's in their best interest.
When you get hanged, it's because you did it to yourself, right? Especially in a public place for everyone to see. I mean, come on.
Also, a tree has. I mean, it has historical significance, and I have heard several people from communities that I follow say, "Hey, this has historical significance." None of us would, if we were to harm ourselves or to try to commit suicide, none of us would do it this way because it would cause too much. It would cause too much pain and harm to the rest of our community.
If anyone was going to commit suicide, they would likely do it inside their own home.
Suicide is a private act. It's not public. So
I mean, people who jump off bridges and buildings, that's a pretty public act.
Well, yeah, that's just because they need a place that's that high.
Oh, that's fair.
Also, sorry, y'all should have had a trigger warning, but nobody here gets easily triggered except for sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is not a subject that actually triggers me.
Well, it's only triggering me because it pisses me off that the police refuse to investigate these.
Pisses me off and being triggered are two very separate things. They're both.
Tria, can you repeat the entire last sentence you said because I didn't hear it?
I said being triggered and being pissed off are two extremely separate things for me.
You've got to remember that the term triggered has a
Yeah.
specific meaning beyond pissed off or upset. It's
yeah, and I know
different.
that everybody knows that. It's just for me, when I use the term triggered, I actually do mean like the clinical usage of the term.
I'm sure you have a very valid point there, and I would like to discuss that with you before I started drinking some night.
That is completely fair, and like I'm not mad if you use it for like an extreme feeling. I just hate the are you triggered snowflake stuff.
No, I'm serious. I
Yeah,
would like
I
to
know
hear
that.
both of you, your insights on exactly what the difference is there.
Oh, I don't have any insight on it. I just know it's a thing. I mean, I don't even fully understand it. I just know that the way that people do the whole her I triggered the libtards thing is
Oh my god.
And I know
not.
And I want to add, I know that is not what purple meant at all. We're not. I want to make that clear. I'm not taking what purple said that way. It's just I automatically make that clarification in these discussions because people think that I just use it for offended or feeling bad, and no, that's not how I use it.
No, I get it. And, I mean, that also does kind of seem like the entire Republican 2020 platform is, I triggered the libs. But X from Utah Cast does have another fantastic piece of history for us. And by fantastic, I mean, fuck me, why is America like this? Because America's police were originally set up based on white supremacy, good old slave trackers, and there is a history of the KKK being in them.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up if you hadn't seen it.
Absolutely correct.
That actually a lot of the state militias were established to return escaped slaves.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, PK, I cut you off.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You can make that up to me by logging into Animal Crossing and watering my plants. No, I'm just kidding.
Although logging into Animal Crossing,
I would, except I really probably should charge my Switch. It hasn't been on the charger in about 5 days because it's just been that kind of a week.
Yikes.
Yeah, I'm finally the good news is my brain is finally working enough to where like I can write a script. The bad news is it's an overdrive and I can't seem to shut it off no matter what I do. I have like 2/3 of a script written up, so hopefully I'll have that recorded in the next few days. And honestly, the last third is going to be even more intensive because apparently I've been out of Mormonism long enough to actually forget some things.
I've got the same problem with Catholicism.
But wouldn't that be a good thing in a way?
Yeah.
It is a good thing, but it's also annoying because it's like, God damn it, now I have to go look this shit up. And remind myself of all
the things to say. Everyone should go listen to Robert Evans Behind the Bastards podcast. Wow. It's currently doing a series of Behind the Police, and it's very, very eye-opening. X also suggests It Could Happen Here, another of his podcasts, and it's about what would happen to America when America goes into Civil War Part 2. Yeah, I mean, now that X brings up the Second American Civil War, which is I think a fictional thing, by the way, because let's face it, a lot of these people that are like, I can't wait till Trump gives us the word to violence against these Dave Dilly or whatever the fuck this MAGA life coach fuck's name is. These people are cowards. They are cowards. Okay. I genuinely don't think these people are going to do shit, because they're going to come across people like me who actually are trained to use a fucking piece, who own a fucking piece, that are willing to use it against these cowards.
Oh yeah, very few of them would ever do anything that they would personally be at risk for.
Well, it's just this weird shit where they think that just because we're for, like common sense gun laws and all that, that we're all scared of guns and all that. And it's like, no, we're not. Quite a few of us are armed. I'm not currently, but I am waiting for my aunt to tell my dad that I can have the gold cap Colt. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, I don't want to take people's guns away. I just want there to be protections in place, because we've proved time and time again as Americans that a good portion of us don't know how to use them properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, I look at all these people every time there is a Second Amendment protest going on, and people are walking into Chipotle with AR-15s slung on their backs like the dumb fucks they are. Whenever these people do post a picture of them holding a gun, their finger is on the trigger. It's on the trigger. There's a rule with this. You do not put your finger on that trigger until you are ready and willing at the same time to pull that trigger back and fire a shot.
And I don't mean to be like, and this is probably going to come across as fat shaming, but have you ever seen these guys that they're always the ones walking around with the guns? Is they're like the roly-poly type, and it's like, dude, who you running from? You actually are a bigger target than some of these other people.
Yeah, I don't own a gun myself, but it would not be at all difficult for me to get one from any of my uncles, cousins, or most of my nephews. And yes, I have done target shooting. I can hit what I need to hit.
Yeah. Like, I can't do precision shooting at close range because, well, I've been diagnosed with essential tremor and my hand does one of these.
Yeah.
At all times.
Well, my arm is kind of twitchy, but I can hit a pop can from 50 feet, so I can definitely hit a person.
I know for a fact that I would not be able to use a gun. I could train myself to be able to, but at this moment, I am fully aware that if you handed me a gun, I would not be able to get my target.
See, that's the thing with me. I know for a fact I could, but the question is what comes after. And that's what nobody ever considers. And I have tried to consider this. I think the last person to be killed by that gun, at least while I'm alive, is me.
Yep.
I don't know if I could live with myself after that.
I know I probably wouldn't.
One of my roommates said that I'm a militant pacifist because I told him that if they drafted me, I would be either the first or second person I killed, depending on what I thought the odds were of my commanding officer getting the rest of the unit killed.
Did somebody else get a Discord beep?
That was me.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go, okay. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that because,
yeah, that can get annoying. I have most of my servers muted for that reason because, holy crap. And also, apologies to anybody who has a fucking Discord server and I said hi and then never appeared again. There are many of you, and it doesn't mean I don't love you or we're not friends anymore. It means I currently have 50 Discords that I'm in, and I can only be in like 3 or 4 at a time.
Oh, Tria, I have a Discord server. I go months at a time without logging into it.
I actually have a quasi-active server. Like there's 3 active people in it other than me. But basically that's it for my Discord server. It's like me, Shy, Fetman hasn't shown up in a while. Zal occasionally will say something, and Snaily and I will talk all the time.
In your Discord?
Yeah, in my Discord.
Yeah, I'm in there, but like I don't talk in Discord.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not upset. Bub's
No,
technically a moderator in there, and I don't even need him.
My thing with Discord is that I don't like.
Okay,
I don't like how it's unthreaded. Like if I'm talking to you, Tria, I want to be able to post something so that you can see it and then you can respond directly to me. And then when I come back in an hour, it's easy to find. Like I've been like perfect example is this webcomic that I follow. They discontinued their forums and moved completely into Discord. I hate it. Because when they post a page update, if I have something that I want to say about that page update, I can go find that page's update and comment on that. And then if anybody sees it and they want to say something, they can comment there, but they can also be commenting 2 pages sooner, 2 pages back, wherever. With Discord, it's just like constant people just going back and forth in like this open room. And it feels too much like we're all sitting in a room and everybody's just trying to yell over each other. For me,
I'm used to that because I've been on pixel doll sites for forever, and that's kind of how they work. My thing is that it's like everybody is supposed to have a Discord because it supposedly helps you with your channel, but then if we're all networking and we're all like socializing with each other to boost each other up, but we're all on a Discord and every single Discord is like a completely different space and there's like 50 different spaces I'm supposedly supposed to be in. Like I can't do that. And I don't expect anybody else to either.
That's the problem I have with Discord is every time I log in, I've got like 100 notifications. And just by the time I've gone through all those, I'm too exhausted to respond to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I only tag if I post something very specific for somebody, and I don't do it all that often. And I only do it if I know that the person's not highly annoyed by that kind of thing. Because I know there have been a couple of people have told me, it's like, look, unless you're doing like an everyone major announcement that I absolutely have to read, don't tag me. And I'm like, cool. And the thing is that there's like I said, there's very few people active in my server, so it doesn't really matter. I just keep it because because Snail and I talk almost constantly.
So I'm looking. Actually, let me copy the link here because this is fantastic. Papa Bird Jake from Hannah and Jake posted a GIF of a chunky raccoon that is GI crawling across what looks like a kitchen floor. Here's the link. Thank you all, or you're all welcome for that. Just check the YouTube comments and actually let me send it in private chat on here too, because holy shit, is that chunky raccoon adorable?
Oh my goodness!
That is a chunky boy.
Oh, that poor thing.
Hang on, and I have to send it to Floof. Okay, where is Floof Earth? There it is.
Okay. What am I about to see?
You're about to see a chunky raccoon sliding across a. That's what you're about to see.
Oh my gosh!
I just saw. Oh, here it is.
You're welcome.
I I would help. They need to incorporate a button into the StreamYard's setup that will just take you to the YouTube version of whatever you're watching. Do you know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure that exists, at least for me, the streamer. I don't remember as much for you, the guest.
When like where we're sitting here and it's like, okay, here's a button at the top right that says channel, and you click that and it'll take you right to that channel. Because now I have to sit here and try and figure out where I'm going because I wasn't watching the stream for some reason. At least I don't think I was. There we go.
That is adorable, and I'm here for it.
There, I just put a link in there. It's probably less adorable, but I still think it's cute. He's like, I wiggle, but I go nowhere.
Oh, the snaky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that one earlier.
I think Mero posted that on Twitter.
Yeah, that was from Mero, of course.
Yeah. Mero and Callan. I think Callan retweeted it. Oh.
Mark Caesar has an interesting question for me. How is your sleep going with a now that could be a contributing factor to your pain, lack of sleep? You're actually not wrong, Mark. My sleep hasn't been as good lately. Trying to think of a way to word this that makes sense. I'm not waking up in the night anymore, but I wake up feeling less well rested, which tells me I'm spending less time in REM sleep.
So your sleep has not been significantly improved with the Cpap?
It was significantly improved with the Cpap. It seems to be less so recently. By recently, I mean within the last couple of months.
Yeah, they determined the Cpap wouldn't be of any help to me, but I thought it was going to help you.
So tell me what the process is to get on a Cpap, because I honestly think I need it.
Okay. So you will be... First, you're going to start with your general practitioner, your primary care provider.
Mm-hmm.
They will then reference you or refer you to a pulmonary clinic somewhere. And you'll either spend the night at the hospital hooked up to their equipment, or you'll spend the night at your home. By the way, wear a comfortable shirt and bra, or just comfortable shirt if you don't wear bras. I don't frankly know. Because I made the mistake of wearing a tight shirt and I slept like shit that night. But if you do the at-home version of the test, wear comfortable clothing, because you will sleep in that shit, because all of the equipment gets strapped on top of your shirt.
Really?
Yeah.
For the record, I slept naked with it.
Well then, that's what we wanted, an image of Purple sleeping naked. That's fucking
I've had worse images.
That's Twitch watch right there.
Sorry, but I felt it was necessary to be accurate here.
I mean, you could have just said topless, because I'm sure what was below the waist wasn't really important.
Okay, sorry.
But Purple has something below the waist, so it's obviously important. But yeah,
listen, I've had worse images put in my brain. It's fine.
But the measurements these machines will take they're a combination of your heart rate, how you're breathing, when you stop breathing, because if you have sleep apnea, you will literally stop breathing for minutes at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you can actually die from sleep apnea.
Yeah, it's even if you don't die during the lack of breathing parts, it messes with your heart health over a period of time, and you can die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Because my dad has sleep apnea, and it took us 2 or 3 years to actually get him to go to a sleep doctor. Because he's the kind of person who basically, like, if I can rough it, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom,
my God, Tria, I'm your dad. This is a weird.
You, how does that work?
This is a weird side tangent, but do you remember that 3 days I spent in the hospital a few months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were trying.
I didn't go until the VA has this medical hotline you can call. And I called them to decide if I should go see a doctor or not over a bowel obstruction, because it started out as just, a little bit of gut pain that felt like food poisoning.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that my dad actually has a really high pain tolerance.
So do I.
Extremely high pain tolerance. And a lot of times, yeah, he can actually just bulldoze his way through. A good portion of the time he does. But I remember when we were trying to get my dad on a Cpap, my mom threw my dad out of the house.
Thanks.
Because he stopped breathing in front of me and I couldn't wake him back up, and she wasn't home. And she basically came home. I told her what happened. And she said, "You are scaring our children now with whatever the hell this is that you've been ignoring. You're sleeping in a motel until you come back until you go to the doctor's office," basically. Like, he called and he was like, "I made the appointment." She says, "No, you are not coming back until you actually see the doctor. You scared our girls."
Yeah, sleep apnea isn't something to mess with. And it's not a good thing that I did for so long, because about 8 months or so before I was medically discharged from the Air Force, buddy of mine who was stationed at Incirlik, he had to go home for family medical emergency. And when he was on his way back through, he had a stopover at Ramstein Air Base where I was posted. And, he was like, "Hey, I don't have the money for a hotel room. I obviously need somewhere to stay on base, and sleeping outside of a bed on base is obviously not legal. Can I crash in your dorm?" Sure. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Then I let him crash on my chair, because there's a dorm room in the Air Force is a studio apartment.
Yeah.
So I let him crash on my chair, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I don't want to alarm you, but you stopped breathing a few times in the night. Maybe see a doctor about that."
Yeah, the problem that he'd had been going on since the military too. And he had basically been retired for about 2-3 years before Mom got mad at him. Well, she was always mad at him, but there was mad, and then there was angry. Yeah. And I don't think I think that if she hadn't thrown him out, he would have continued to try to not deal with it, because, like I said, just trying to get him to go to the doctor is just, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of a culture that would go away if we had, now bear with me here, because I'm going to sound like a dirty pinko commie socialist. when I say medic, because my Cpap machine equipment, which is the tubing, the actual face mask, the water reservoir, the filters that clean up the air, however much, all that is paid for by the VA. My appointment with the pulmonary doctor to get me a CPAP was set up by the VA. And before I continue, yes, I know I earned the shit out of my VA benefits, but there was a Koch brothers study back when there were still two Koch brothers before one of them died, that said Medicare for all would actually save us like $10 billion over just years.
Yeah.
Because people will wait until they can't take it anymore instead of doing the preventative shit. Because if you do all of the preventative shit, there's still going to be people who won't go because they're just stubborn.
Yeah,
but
they determined the CPAP wasn't going to help me, but my fiance was on a CPAP, and the initial purchase of the machine, if the Medicaid hadn't covered it, would have cost her about $1,500.
Yeah.
The problem is the initial short-term costs for regular maintenance healthcare it's preventative. You don't really get there until it's suddenly an emergency.
Yeah, and then you wind up going to the ER, and because you didn't have money to pay for the doctor in the first place, who thinks you're going to have money to pay the ER bill?
Yeah,
they do overcharge. They do overcharge, but I think some of the overcharging would be a little bit less if people weren't relying on the emergency room only for their health care.
Well, part of why the ER overcharges is because in most circumstances, there are government assurance programs that will pay them half of the original cost if the bill is defaulted on.
Yeah, and okay, so here's another thing you have to consider. There are thousands of YouTube videos of people going through and asking, hey, what do we think it costs for, let's say, an ambulance to be called in America? There are videos upon videos upon videos of British people saying, I don't know, 50 quid, 50 pound, 20 euro, whatever. And I don't know about everywhere else in the country, but in the state I live in, it's $5,000 just to call an ambulance and have them arrive on your scene.
When my fiance died, she was in the situation that they were trying to get her to declare bankruptcy just so that they could claim it as a write-off, because at that point she owed $24,000 just to the ambulance company, not to mention what she owed to the hospital.
Oh no, hang on. Because I saw this on my desk, there's another set of several thousand videos. How much does one of these cost? Over in England, goddamn near next to nothing. Over here, it's obscene. But America has the best healthcare in the world. We also have the highest rate of mortality among preventable diseases and other medical issues. But hey, free market, baby. That's the way to go. Fuck me. And everyone's silent. So how about them Knicks?
Oh, well, that's part of it. We lost Tria. Sorry, I was
Looking stool for fuck's sake, 5,000. Yeah, 5,000.
Yeah, I was typing in the side chat.
For the ambulance to arrive and to be taken to the hospital, it's a $5,000 bill. At least it was at one point. I don't know what it is now. This right now is like 7 years later. I'm not sure what Embrel is. Do you care to elaborate, Mr. Sirius? What is Embrel?
Intercept, apparently. Oop. Let me see here. Oh, come on, computer. Stop being a dork.
Man, I don't know what it does.
Antrocept, sold under the brand name of Embrel, among others, is a biopharmaceutical that treats autoimmune diseases by interfering with tumor necrosis factor by enacting as a TNF inhibitor. I have no idea what I just said.
I don't know what that means either. But I mean, I heard the word cancer, so a lot of money. I mean, how the fuck is anyone expected to afford that?
Medical uses. Let's see. In the United States, Antrocept is indicated for moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis, moderate to severe polyarticular juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. It looks like it's an arthritis medication for the most part.
Yeah, I have the rheumatoid arthritis, and I have to think that it is just nothing compared to the kind of pain Bub is describing.
Yeah, tumor necrosis factor is a cell signaling protein involved in systematic inflammation and is one of the keratokines that make up the acute phase reaction. Keratin. Keratin is the word I'm trying to pronounce. Yeah. It's all prescription stuff. Ow, ow, ow. So, Purple, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm, trying to keep myself under control because I've already. My typical drinks are about 3 shots of whiskey to a 12-ounce can of ginger ale.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on my second one, so I realize I'm slurring, and I'm not sure how far I've gone yet.
Not too bad. You might want to slow up a little bit, though. I just read your reply where you were talking about possums. I think.
Yeah, that was when I was like 11 or 12 that we had one nesting in our garage.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was calling my dad, talked to my dad on Sunday actually, and he was telling me that he had found he had found 4 possums in the utility closet of our house. No idea how they got in there, but it was 5. One of them had crawled out of the utility closet and died in the living room. So my dad found the dead one and then went looking for the other ones and found 4 others in the utility closet.
Yeah, ours was an unusually large litter because one day when she was leading them across the sidewalk, we counted them to be 13 in all.
Oh, wow. But yeah, instead of calling somebody to take them out, he just put on really thick oven mitts and caught them.
Yeah, we just let them live in our garage until they were big enough for her to move them away.
Oh. Yeah. Last thing I heard was possums because I had to go to the bathroom. I don't have possums here. I have raccoons.
Oh,
Well,
raccoons are far worse. They're much more destructive.
Well, see, we were talking about this because you went away and we didn't know why, so I was just trying to fill airspace. There are a series of Twitter. Whoa, chair, stop it! Whoa! I've got this fancy gaming chair, kind of like what you've got, Bub. I can see it in the background. And every single time I try and unlock the thing so it'll lean back, it doesn't lean back. And then I'm like fiddling with it. And I guess I have to kind of sit up to let it unhook. And then I lean back and fall, and it goes back. And I'm like, ah! And it gets me every single time.
See, I don't know. Is yours like mine? Does it have this? Like, okay, so this pillow that's right here, the one that's for lumbar support, has a massager in it on mine.
Whoa, that's fancy.
Yeah, I didn't even pay that much for mine. I paid like, what was mine, 100 or somewhere between 150 and $200.
Oh yeah, wow, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think this is going to be upside down. This is upside down.
Yeah.
Well,
it's probably too dark.
Okay.
Yeah,
you need to get a lumbar pillow that has a massager in it because this is just choice. I love it.
Because of the whole COVID thing.
Maybe they have one I can get to replace.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of choice with picking out chairs, and I wasn't going to buy one that I didn't have a chance to really look at. But I never would have believed I would have spent over $100 on a chair. But I did end up getting a $120 office chair. Yeah,
we've had office chairs before, and the cool thing about the gaming chairs is that the armrests move up and down.
Oh my god, yes! I love these things.
And then they go in and out. So like, if I'm not sitting up under my desk, I can put the armrests up, and then I can just tuck them down, and it fits under almost any desk.
Well, and that was a critical feature for me because if I sit in a chair with my feet on the floor, it strains my back.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time at the computer, I'm sitting with my arms folded, or sitting with my legs folded, rather.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to have space for my knees to go out to the sides.
So since you have raccoons where you live, you should look for raccoons every hour on Twitter. There's this strange family of Twitters.
No.
No?
I hate raccoons. They ate one of my cats.
No, I'm talking to Bub.
It's not that many raccoons. It's just that's what you see, not possums.
Well, there's this Twitter family of channels that are something every hour. Bats every hour, fish every hour, possums every hour, raccoons every hour, ferrets every hour. And I guess they have timed tweets where every hour they post a cutesy picture of that particular animal.
I fed Mero the link for snakes every hour.
Oh, I need that one then.
Yeah, by the way, I was on the right side of history from the fucking jump on that. Team Thylacine, baby. Hell yeah.
Fangworm.
But for all of those who are familiar with at the quartering on Twitter, flirting is dead. It's all rape now.
What?
Flirting is dead.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what? What?
That guy's got big incel energy.
Oh my god. Like, okay. I haven't had sex in years. This dude is a bigger incel than me. Holy fuck.
You know, I saw
according to a lot of people, I'm not even an incel. It's just
no. Originally, it was just involuntary people who wanted to have sex who didn't have sex because of various reasons. Now there's definitely a personality and a way of behaving that makes it somebody an incel. You know, you've got to have that hate for women and that self-loathing shit going on before you could be considered an incel.
Yeah, women are thoughts. They're a bunch of dumb bitch. Oh,
yeah.
I wear a can of Axe body spray. That's
I saw
right there.
It's one of those things where I'm like, I actually watched a couple of the early quartering videos and thought that he made a little bit of sense. But that was like 4 years ago. You know, that was a long time ago. Same with like Anita Sarkeesian. I first started watching her. I thought she made a little bit of a sense sometimes, but then I would hear her what do you call the people that like her opposition? And I was like, well, that actually makes more sense. You know, it's just.
I remember her Gamergate videos, and she's talking about like most specifically the Hitman game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a mission where you have to go into a strip club and you actually lose points for and can fail the mission for in this mission.
You just froze.
And she's like, and she says that you're encouraged to kill strippers and drag them around. It's like, no. Where did you get this from? That's not accurate, Anita. What?
Yeah. You know, that this whole thing, she tries to give this appearance that she's into games, and there's like a video of her saying literally the opposite.
Yeah.
I don't play games. I don't. It's like, you are such a scammer.
Yeah, she raised like, what was it, $10,000 to make
2 videos or something.
Many videos, and she never made videos.
Mm-hmm.
With that money, it's like
it's like you've got both ends of the spectrum. You've got Anita Sarkeesian on one end and the quartering on the other.
Yeah. No, I mean, I used to be against like Lacey Green. I used to hate her, but now I'm just like, Lacey Green's kind of fucking bae, actually. Yeah, I really enjoy her content.
Ooh.
You know, that I actually finally look at it.
Doesn't it suck when there are people that a couple of years ago you found appalling, now seem to be moderates?
Well, okay, so let me offer a course correction. Until about a year or so ago, I never watched Lacey Green. All I had was like the anti-SJW takes, because that's where I was a few years ago. You know, so I'd watch those channels and I'd be like, oh, Lacey Green, she totally sucks. She hates men. And, you know, I watch her now. I'm like, oh, wow, I was fed bullshit back then. And I just bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Kids never be fooled that someone is a skeptic when they say they are. Just, we're all human beings. We have our biases. We are all to confirmation bias.
I have a friend who keeps insisting I'm a skeptic, and I'm just like, no, please stop saying that to me. I know you mean it as a compliment and you love me, but no, stop it.
I mean, there's really nothing at all wrong with being a skeptic, but when you say you're a skeptic and then you're like, well, you disagree with my take, so you must not be a skeptic.
Well, no, for me, there's it. Part of it is that I don't really feel any connection to that term, because honestly, basically, to sum up how I got out of Mormonism, and how I got into atheism was, ouch, that hurts, and hey, stop thinking this way isn't hurting. And to me, that's not logic. That's or reasoning. That's all feeling.
Yeah, it's a form of aversion therapy.
Yeah, it's basically okay, I don't like the way this feels, so I'm not going to do it anymore. And that's about the extent of it. I didn't go do, because I hear these stories, and this is not every skeptic and this is not every atheist, but I do hear stories of people who like sat down and said, can God logically exist? And I was like, I didn't even go through that. Like, I've applied that after the fact, kind of, but that's not how I came to mind.
I mean, that's not, that being a skeptic really doesn't, I mean, how you ended up out of religion doesn't really make much of a difference whether you're skeptical of things now.
That is true, but I was skeptical to a degree while I was in religion as well. I just didn't apply it because of confirmation bias to my religion.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel any connection with it is the big thing. I really don't.
Ooh, ouch.
Okay, so Mr. Serious, I've had root canal.
I was not laughing at that.
No, I don't think you were laughing at that, because I mean,
Ouch.
I was high as fuck when I had root canal, so I don't really remember much. But
Yeah.
I wish you well on your recovery.
Same here. I don't remember it happening, but like the 2 or 3 days afterwards were a bitch.
I got lucky and didn't really have a lot of pain afterwards. My problem was I couldn't move my jaw at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It wasn't so much direct pain as being unable to eat for a couple of days.
Yeah, that just said. No, what I was laughing at was right before Mr. Serious said that. You X answered with "Ow, stop hitting yourself."
Well, I mean,
I had 2 wisdom teeth pulled at one point, and that's the closest I've had to a root canal.
oh,
That was
oh, you're so sweet. I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth pulled at the same time.
Ouch! They did 2 for me at the same time because I only needed 2 pulled. And I thought it was going to take a lot longer than it did, but my appointment was at 3. I was walking out of the office at 3:10.
See, I remember literally nothing of it. I think I was 16. I was 16 or 17 at the time. And I have no trust of dentists. Like the idea of something going in my mouth is, or at least at the time, was unacceptable to me. I mean, when it comes to dentist instruments, it's still pretty unacceptable. So when it comes to major maxillofacial surgery, I need to be unconscious. But it's
Yeah, I have the same. For me, it's not so much the instruments, it's I don't like any face pain. I can handle a good portion of other kinds of pain, but face pain is like one that I have very little tolerance for.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to go around and do poking and prodding and sawing and all of that bullshit, and I'm going to be in pain after, that scares the holy living Jesus out of me, and I get panic attacks.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sloth Girl has an absolute phobia of dentists. And I feel it's inevitable that at some point I'm going to have to knock her out in the car before she realizes where we're going.
Like the cat.
So it's like that.
Yeah, Bob and
Yeah,
I
pretty
went
much
the
the
same
same
way.
as
We were
taking
like,
the
"Where's
cat to the vet. Yeah.
Fun fact, this front tooth right here on my left side, that's not real.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a tooth.
Oh yeah.
That's fake.
I've got a fake. I've knocked both of my front teeth out.
Very well put in.
I think. You
Yeah.
remember those ladders that they used to have that would bend? Like you could bend it and kind of in order to get on weird places on your roof.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt had one, and she put it in her backyard and made it into like a U shape for us to climb on. But we weren't supposed to climb on top of it. Well, I climbed on top of it, slipped, smacked my face into one of the rungs, and broke my tooth.
Ow.
So then they had to go and fix that tooth. And then a couple years later, I'm not sure if it was the same tooth or the other tooth. I was playing on a skateboard and for some reason had this brilliant idea where if I was kneeling on the skateboard, using my front hands to push me along, if I stopped and pushed up with my hands and pushed with my feet, I could just shoot the skateboard out from under me. Instead, what it did is came up and smacked me in the face and broke my tooth again.
Ow.
And so I had to go and get that tooth fixed too.
I'm having a panic attack just thinking of that.
Okay,
Sorry.
so
It's okay.
do we want the funniest event where I broke a tooth, or do we want the most embarrassing event where I broke a tooth first? Because I got a couple of good ones.
Embarrassing first.
I think to anyone other than you, they'll probably be the same one.
Oh, I mean, these are two totally separate events that are separated by about somewhere between 10 and 15 years. Because I don't remember the exact time frame.
Yeah.
But I think I heard PK say embarrassing first.
Yeah, embarrassing first.
Okay. So embarrassing, I think I was like 6 years old or 5 or 6 years old, back when I was still super duper stupid.
This assumes that you aren't
for most males, that occurs when you're a teenager.
But I'm at the mall with my family, and for some reason, I just start running at, those plate glass windows that are in front of stores, and they have the mannequins in front, and so for some reason, I just start running at one of those. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but I into the plate glass, and I break one of my teeth. That's the embarrassing one. The funny one, actually, I break the same tooth, but I misjudge how tough to bite into a piece of fudge with magical mushrooms is.
Ooh, where'd you get the mushrooms?
Okay, so there's this event that I don't know if it still happens. Let me look this up because this is fucking interesting. Okay. Okay, so it is still happening. This is fantastic. There's this event called Hookahville Music Festival that happens supposedly every year near where I live. And, I'm waiting in line there, and a few different events happen while I'm just in line because they're doing this new wristband arm scan thing to get in, and they haven't worked out literally any of the kinks because it's the first year doing this. So while we're waiting in line, I have enough time to get drunk, sober up, get high, sober up, trip, and sober up from that.
God damn.
Well, before we're tripping, while I'm still high, sobering up from that, and then, the magical mushrooms came from this fudge that I totally didn't eat because I just realized magical mushrooms are not a legal thing, and I did nothing at all illegal whatsoever. But I bit into this piece of fudge that super duper totally did not have magical mushrooms in it, and I totally did not trip. But I broke tooth on this piece of fudge and did not trip after that, and I did not see really pretty magical colors in the sky because well, that would just be fun. And we can't have that, can we?
Yeah. Yeah, smoking it I'm generally immune to. And yes, I have never wanted to try edibles, but wish I could get them.
See, I don't think I want edibles because it takes too long for it to hit, and then suddenly all of it hits. You know, I want a smokable where it's like, hey, I take a hit, suddenly I feel something, you know, it's in the bloodstream, just like that.
Well, mostly I've wanted to try magic brownies.
Well, no, when I say magic mushrooms, I mean the mushroom, not marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking.
Yeah.
I can't think of what it's called. I'm blanking on it.
Yeah, I wish I knew how to identify them when I was doing landscaping in Michigan. Because on the fringe of the forest, I saw all kinds of mushrooms. I just didn't know, which ones would be fun and which ones would get me killed.
See, disgustingly, I think the ones that are fun grow under cow patties. So you have to really clean the shit out of them.
Yeah, I saw some of those.
Yeah, it was fun. And I definitely did not see a whole bunch of magical colors in a pitch black sky. That didn't happen.
Keep saying this like I'm gonna run and snitch on you or something.
No, I'm not worried about you
know.
snitching. I'm worried about you keep snitching.
Yeah, I'm imagining this is the stuff they were taking when they wrote the animated movie of the Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking because unfortunately, when I was a kid, I was a big tattletale.
Well, that makes me. You mentioned Yellow Submarine, and that reminds me of a song, and I can't remember what song it is. But
Yellow Submarine.
No, not that one. No. And it starts out with this guy talking about, he's just talking, monologuing, and he goes, and by the way, all you folks who think drugs have never done any good, you take all your albums, all your CDs, all your 8-tracks, all your records, and you just throw them out the window. Because all those musicians, real fucking high.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So who remembers when VH1 was a thing?
I do.
Yep.
Be honest, we're all old here.
Yeah, I remember VH1.
Yeah, when VH1 was the alternate to MTV.
Yeah, and VH1 actually had music on it. That took a whole year to go away. There was a show called Behind the Music, and they were talking about this anti-drug concert that the Soviet Union was having. And there were a bunch of American and European artists that were on a plane going to the Soviet Union to have this concert, to fundraise to be against drugs. And they're talking, one of the people being interviewed was an artist on the plane, and this dude's like, yeah, I mean, we're going to this concert in the Soviet Union to, promote a drug-free lifestyle, and everyone on the plane was high.
Yeah, kind of remembering that.
Oh, shit. See, I'm actually old enough to remember MTV having music on it.
I think too.
Really?
Hun, I am a year older than you.
I keep forgetting that. I
know.
that
I am a year older than you. I think it's only a year, but I am a year older than you. I turned 36 in November.
Oh, you're more than a year older than me, Tria. I will be 34 in September.
Oh, okay. I can't math.
How old? How old?
34 in September.
Oh, you small child.
Yeah, and I still have a stepdaughter older than both of you.
Well, I just okay. Purple, you always have kind of an idea of what my age is. Bob is always imagining me running around in my early to mid 20s.
I imagine everyone running around in diapers in their 20s, okay?
Tria, I have to say I do the same thing. It is hard for me to imagine anyone as being older than 20 unless they have specifically told me otherwise.
I've told Bob 4 times now. He keeps forgetting, and it's hilarious.
I have a terrible memory, Tria, okay?
And I'm not mad at you. You hear me laughing over here, right?
It was my first boss, my first actual supervisor in the Air Force. I kept forgetting this dude's name.
Oh.
But bear in mind, their names are taped right here on their uniform, so I saw that shit every day. It took me weeks to learn this dude's name.
Yeah, I'm sure I would do the same thing.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's about time to stop this because I'm hungry. And we've been going for over an hour and a half. Who else is feeling hungry?
I went and got food while my internet was down.
Yeah, actually, that's why I was late coming in, because I was eating when you started this.
Yeah, all I had to eat today is a gargantuan from Jimmy John's. And it was less gargantuan than usual because they were out of capicola.
I found the song that I was thinking of. It's called Third Eye. It's by Tool. I put a link to it in chat. And just the way he goes,
you should be a mod, PK. Why is
I am not. I do not know.
You're not a mod?
No.
Hang on, let me correct that real quick.
I wish that there was somewhere where you could go on YouTube where it would tell you where you're a mod.
Okay, so I'm at the thing. Oh wow, there are a couple of things. Native Atheist said, "Hey folks, that's not coming through StreamYard."
It's pretty slow. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes.
Yeah, I've noticed that in my streams, the YouTube chat can be up to 2 or 3 minutes behind the StreamYard.
That's ridiculous. Okay, well, Utah Cast is a moderator now, so congratulations, X. PK, do you want to slam a random string of letters into the stream? That way I can make you a mod. Hey, PK said bloop. That's not random. You liar.
These are terrible decisions, really.
Okay. So PK,
you're a kitty. You should have said meow.
Fair. Oh, do you want me to put that link again? Because now it might actually link.
Yeah, well,
there we
now
go.
that you're modded a link. There it is.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see it the first time you did it.
That's because PK wasn't a mod. Only mods have that power.
Yeah, which I understand why, but it's also a little bit annoying because you should have the option for a mod to actually approve a link instead of the link just disappearing. That's my one.
No, that actually I think is how it works.
No,
it isn't. I agree that's how it should work, but
Well,
no.
the
that's
link,
not how it works.
the link doesn't I mean, unless you guys aren't seeing it right before Native Atheist says, "Hey, folks," is where mine shows up on my screen, and it's still
Yeah,
there.
No,
no,
it did not show up on mine at all.
Oh,
it doesn't, and the mods don't have a way to approve it.
oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's my one complaint. Because, like, I understand, I don't want some random person walking into one of my Ace streams and being like, I'm going to put up a link that's Ace phobic for people to follow, and then have people go and see it, see something hateful. I want a mod to be able to go, okay, here's this link, let me check it out, see if it's from a troll or from somebody we trust, etc., etc. But you don't even get that option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are actual dedicated live streaming apps like Twitch. They allow for such a thing. Yeah, like a questionable comment will come up for people that are designated as mods. Like a friend of mine is a streamer on Twitch, and I'm one of his mods. And a questionable thing or something with a legal link will come up with it on Twitch, and I'll have the opportunity to click on it and be like, sure, why not? Or fuck no, this is obviously some shitty thing.
Yeah, I don't know why it's set up that way. It's extremely aggravating. It should work the same way as comments do, where a moderator can look at it, look at the context, and be like, okay, this is cool, let's go ahead and let it through. But it doesn't do that with the links. It just disappears in another sphere.
It's that way because it's YouTube, and YouTube fucks up most everything that would make sense.
Yup.
Hey, I know, and I hate YouTube, but I'm not 100% sure I want to switch to Twitch. So, because I'm not seeing my channel.
I hate YouTube, but at this point, there still is not a viable alternate platform.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at most of my recent, or at least half of my recent videos, it's day in the life live streams, the 10-minute ones that I've been doing lately.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I'm gonna check again because I really do want to do a few live streams. Live streams offer me the opportunity to talk about something in a way that's a little bit more interactive. And for some of the subjects that I talk about, I prefer that, but I haven't been able to because YouTube is the dumb.
Yeah. Well, speaking of new content, by the way, tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, a friend of mine who is into that sort of thing gives me a past life reading.
Oh, cool. I'll probably be asleep, but I'll come back and watch it later.
I mean, it's definitely a fun video. I had a lot of fun making it. I don't believe in past lives or any of that shit, but I mean, it's
why not?
Yeah. I mean, the first past life reading this friend of mine gave me, like, her initial impressions after, going through some of the cards was, okay, so, like, for, like, the image she had of this past life, I was a black woman who was a protester, and then suddenly it did a massive flip. I was still black, but in this past life, but I suddenly was a pastor now. And it's like, something's not tracking here. Because how do I go from your initial impressions of black woman who's against religion to black pastor? How do you go from anti-religion to religion? These are some of the reasons I don't think it makes sense.
Well, I have met a couple of people who have gone back to religion, and they feel like they can't deal without having a God watching over them, and get that some people feel like they need it, but a lot of times it's very, very aggravating because a lot of times they become more devout somehow, and I'm just like,
I don't get that at all, because I mean, like, the idea that someone catches me masturbating, just I can't get past that. And to have the idea that there's this all-seeing thing that's like, I see what you're doing there.
Well, I will admit, the way that I believed God existed, there were some parts that were like, bleh, but I was taught that God is actually our literal Father in heaven, like not just, oh, I'm the God of the universe, but like a father that loves you and cares about you and wants to be involved in your life, kind of thing. And sometimes I do kind of miss that feeling, even though I know that it was all fake and fantasy, because I really heavily bought into it, and it was very, very comforting. So I do understand if you think of God that way, wanting to go back to it, because again, sometimes I do, but I can't, because that would be a lie to myself, and eventually that would cause more pain than comfort. So I'm just going to skip that step and just avoid the whole thing.
For me, it was during my 25 years in the pagan community that I didn't, I had discarded the Bible, but I still believe there was some higher power. And I did have a very strong belief in reincarnation and thought that I had tracked like 3 or 4 of my past lives.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is that Mormons sort of use the Bible, but not a lot. And a lot of the stories of destruction and vengeance and all of that stuff was basically, well, these people were bad and they brought it upon themselves. So it's very easy in Mormonism to disconnect yourself from what mainstream Christianity kind of deals with the Bible, because you do use the Bible, but you basically as far as the Bible goes, I had about the equivalent of what a young child would have gotten out of Bible stories. If that makes any sense.
It does.
No, I can relate to that because I was kicked out of the Catholic Church by the time I was 8 or 9.
I was slow. It took me until I was 19 to figure it all out. And even then, it took me another 10 years to do most of my deprogramming. I'm going to be deprogramming from Mormonism the rest of my life, but the majority of it's been done, but it took about 10, 15 years to do so.
Well, even after I was kicked out of the Catholic Church, it was another 5 or 6 years before I gave up on the Bible.
I didn't know enough of the Bible to really give up on it, to be honest. And people who don't know me, but meanwhile will talk about Bible stuff, and I'll just be like looking at them like, I don't plan on reading that stuff. It's boring, and I don't wanna. And there's no point for me right now because I'm not trying to deconvert anybody. I'm not trying to slam dunk anybody. And I'm just going to stick with Mormonism because most of the time I don't have to research that. And I say most of the time because this particular thing that I'm working on now, ow.
Well, I remember as a child, I had an obsession with the story of Noah and all the animals on the ark. And I think that's a lot of what was my undoing from the Bible, is realizing how implausible all of that seemed.
Yeah, I think I just thought God was magic or something.
So, like, talking about, how Mormonism doesn't really follow along with the Bible. It made me remember a fairly old video of mine, by which I mean a little over a year old. By the way, my channel is more than 2 years old.
Congratulations.
That's a thought that I didn't even think of. I was scrolling through my channel looking for this particular video, which should be appearing in the chat, hopefully close to now. But yeah, May 15th was my channel's birthday. My channel is 2 years and 9 days old.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So
I've noticed there was like
belated birthday to my own channel.
there was like a whole crop of us that seemed to have started our channels about 2 years ago in the spring. You know, I mean, I'm aware of at least a dozen of people, some of who are now pretty big channels who started about the same time.
You know, if I was a little bit more consistent, I would probably have a bunch of subs. But unfortunately, I go months at a time not being able to do videos.
Well, I mean, you remember the early days of my channel, or the early-ish days of my channel, I was doing 2 videos a week, and I've got 545 now.
Well, the thing is that, like, I think it was 2 months ago, I had planned on starting just doing live streams because, like, I needed something that felt normal. And I think that partially made it even harder to do videos because it was getting hard to edit videos. It was getting hard to focus. It was like, okay, well, I can do live streams because I've done both on my channel. And I'm going to get views either way. I have regulars that whether it's a live stream or a video, they're going to watch. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do something that feels a little bit cool, get back into the groove of it. And then YouTube started taking my live streams down. And like, I was like, okay, well, if I can't do that, you know, I don't want to do a video and then have that taken down as well. Because honestly, I'm surprised more of my videos haven't gotten flagged.
Yeah.
Because the Mormon Church could make an argument that I am costing them money as advertisers. And yeah. And I know that's actually probably going to happen at some point.
But yeah, the link I just posted was to a video of mine called 5 Unbiblical Catholic Practices. And I gotta say, my beard in this video is so big.
Yeah, oh gosh, how many unbiblical practices are there in Mormonism? I don't know.
I technically started my channel before Maddie or Surus. You know, it's just I never uploaded videos on a regular basis.
Yeah. See, and that's what you've got, and that's the thing is that you have to be fairly consistent with your videos.
Well, yeah, at least once a week.
And I can't
My first YouTube video was uploaded 9 years ago. And it's a picture. It's a video I took of my ferret. No, it was a picture of a cat sleeping in my mother's purse as it was hanging on the back of a chair.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Actually, I go back a bit further than that, except that YouTube deleted my first 2 channels before I ever uploaded a video.
Okay.
No real explanation. I'm pretty sure it's because I had pissed off a Muslim guy in the comments of other people's videos.
Oh, so just real quick before we talk about anything else, Mr. Bear Atheist, a very awesome content creator, which all of you should follow. And just as soon as things work properly, you can find a link in the side chat there. Follow Mr. Bear Atheist. He makes fantastic fucking content. Just had someone posing as him on Twitter, and PK actually posted 6 minutes ago that the account doesn't exist because this dumb fuck was posing as Mr. Bear Atheist.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, Mr. Bear is very cool.
Yeah.
He helped out with that Christmas stream that we did last year.
Yep, he was involved in that.
I think he was directly before or directly after mine. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. We collectively took down a fake account that was trying to tarnish his name. So, score one for the good guys, right?
Bub, share my screen.
Okay. Let me figure how to do that through
So,
the new UI. What is wrong with this UI? What? Sure. Okay.
It's late and it doesn't let
There
me
it
you're
is.
drunk. It doesn't
So
like it.
this is the first video I ever put on YouTube.
It's not that I'm drunk. It's that it's the new UI.
Kittens!
It's updated.
You know, I was like, what are you doing?
Oh, look at that.
It's kitty.
Oh, that's just too fucking cute.
Oh,
Kitty
So I'm
baby.
just gonna sleep in there.
I want one.
It's been my anniversary, I think, for my channel hit in June, and I couldn't even do I could do a celebration live stream, but it would have been on somebody else's channel, and I was already so upset. It just didn't feel right. There.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the day I brought that ferret home.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of wondering if I click on remove on PK's, if that'll kick PK from the stream, which is not what I want to do, or
yeah.
okay.
I removed myself.
It's a new UI. I don't know what the new UI is.
Yeah, my second anniversary for my channel was actually in March, but that was just after my move and I hadn't settled in yet, so I didn't really acknowledge it.
Doc says they blocked the imposter, which is good. Hopefully, also reported them because
I blocked
people do that.
I blocked him too, even though I don't really have any association with Mr. Bear Atheist. Just because I've had a bunch of people follow me recently, and I wouldn't have known which one was which, to be honest, if I hadn't been told, because I don't really pay that much attention to who follows me. I do to a degree, but...
Well, I mean, I think it's as soon as you break like 100 followers, it gets a little difficult.
And also, like, there are some people that I vehemently disagree with, but I'm kind of hoping that by following me, something might sink in. Like, if you're downright fucking hateful, like, if you are proud and hateful, I've got no time for you and I will block you immediately. But if it seems like you might be on the fence, or, you know, maybe you're following me to find out because you're curious or what have you, I'm a little bit lax. I'm probably more lax than I should be. But I keep hoping that, like, some of these people following me will be like, oh, yeah, okay, Mormonism bad. I'm going to stay away from that.
You guys should consider doing the followers.com thing if you're not already. It'll tell you when someone follows you and unfollows you, so you can kind of look and be like, okay, who is this person that's followed me, unfollowed me, and followed me 3 times in the last month?
I'm not up to that. I'm not up to that at all. Like, I generally get about 1 or 2 followers a day, and it's usually around the same time when my notifications are dull, and I don't miss who's following me. I get
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
same with me. At most I get a couple per week.
Yeah. I have a few true blue Mormons following me right now. And they seem like decent enough people from this short screening that I did. If I were a little bit more strict, I might not have them following me, but I'd probably soft block them. But I'm kind of secretly hoping that they're just like they're on the fence because they do seem like decentish people.
Yeah.
At least,
Well, and that's what you got to hope for is, are there a couple of people wavering enough that you might be able to help them?
yeah, and I don't necessarily, I wish the church would just collapse upon itself and not exist, but I know that that's not what's going to happen. I wish everybody would just walk away, but I know that's not what's going to happen. If I can convince them to work with other people on the same things that I want changed, because I know that we're not going to get rid of the Mormon organization, I'll deal with the fact that they're faithful.
Well, and if you can even get 1 or 2 people to question, so that maybe at least they're raising their children in an atmosphere where they might question.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's because a lot of people have told me that, because I usually say the goal of my channel is not to deconvert, and it's honestly not. And I've had people be like, oh, no, you could deconvert people with your channel. And I'm like, you don't understand. I don't play by the Mormon rules. And 90% of the people who are Mormon aren't even going to bother listening to me. I'm more concerned with making sure that people are aware of the dangers of the Mormon church and never join in the first place.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the stated goal of my channel in the the welcome to my channel thing that I've got on my YouTube homepage for people that click on my link. It's I admit that deconverting people is a fantastic bonus, but if I get someone to actually critically think about their religion, that's fantastic. That's what I'm after. I want them to actually honestly consider it.
Yeah, historically, the Mormon church has only made changes when the federal government has made threats to them. That is the only time that it changes. And the thing is, and the way that I go about this also helps other religious organizations as well, or people from other religious organizations and people outside of them, is I don't think the change is going to come from within the church. I think the outside pressure is going to become so great that the Mormon church is going to have to change some things. Granted, it's going to be slow as hell, but if I can get enough people on board to be like, look, religion, we look the other way when religion does bad shit, because religion, we need to stop doing that. And if we can stop doing that, we can get pressure these places from without the religion to actually make the changes we need, because they're not going to come from within. They've proven that time and time again.
And I mean, like you have all these religious apologists, and I just don't get their point. It's like, oh, well, I mean, it's Christianity that's responsible for all these discoveries. Yeah, because people like us brought them kicking and screaming into these new understandings.
Yeah.
Like the Vatican has a space observatory in Vatican City, and why is that? It certainly has nothing at all to do with people like Giordano Bruno, who the Catholic Church murdered, by the way, for his heretical views that were proven to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and since churches killing people is kind of frowned upon in American society, granted you can get away with it, but it's still kind of frowned upon. Excommunication is kind of, for some religions, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And in fact, the only reason why the Mormon Church isn't really doing a lot of excommunications anymore is because ex-Mormons weaponized it. We started throwing parties for people who got excommunicated. Well, not parties, but like little social gatherings. Like if you were going in for an excommunication, there would be somebody outside with music and like passing around like refreshments out in the parking lot, waiting for you to come out. And be like, hey, we're sorry, we know you're hurting, but guess what? We're here for you. You're not alone. Because the way we were taught was when you get excommunicated, you have nobody because you're alone. And so, like, we started, like, basically blasting it on social media sites. People started recording them. And now the Mormon Church is like, please don't excommunicate people anymore. It creates more ex-Mormons.
See, I remember when, from history, I remember hearing about how being excommunicated from the Catholic Church used to be this big whole thing, and now because nobody really cares, the Catholic Church is like, oh well, I mean, you're not allowed to take part in the sacraments anymore, but like you still have to like go to mass and give us money. Suddenly the Catholic Church has neutered what excommunication means.
The thing is that excommunication for somebody who's still trying to hang on to the church is a traumatic experience because it's basically set up like a mock trial. And eventually I am going to cover this because I skipped all of the excommunication steps and went to a lawyer, which pissed off the Mormon Church very badly. Because if you skip and go to the lawyer, they can't do their humiliation session. But what they found out was there would be these figures who would have things that people stood behind and were like, okay, well, this person wants to prevent child abuse. And so they would try to work within the church and do all of these things. And then the church would excommunicate them. And then people would be like, well, if you're going to excommunicate them for that, and I try it, what's going to happen to me? I might as well quit before you throw me out. And so there were like a string of excommunications where somebody would get excommunicated, and then people would go to the lawyer service that I used in the thousands and then be like, I resign. Goodbye, Mormon Church.
Well, bravo, you made a mark.
Yeah. And like, Hot Mormon typically only handles about 50 people ish per day. About somewhere between 30 to 50. Imagine 4,000 people in 24 hours hitting that button when the norm is 50.
Well, yeah, anyone is going to be overwhelmed when it becomes, hundreds or thousands per day.
Yeah, that's not typical for them. Usually their big days are around General Conference, and if somebody gets excommunicated, most of the time it's about 50 people a day. And now they're having to deal with notarization because apparently some idiot decided to be funny and turned in a fake name or turned in somebody for them. and now you have to send in ID to go through the lawyer service.
Well, it actually wasn't until Bub made me aware that the Catholic Church probably still had my name on record as being a member.
No, they definitely do.
Yeah.
Because outside of my sister's wedding, I had not been inside the Catholic Church in 40 years.
Oh, it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, if you didn't go through the process of formal defection.
Yeah, I had never made a formal request.
I'm one of the very rare ones that made it through after formal defection was not a thing anymore. Legally, quote unquote, according to the Catholic Church. But if before, I think 2008, you didn't do it, you are still considered Catholic. And they will continue to use your name to perpetrate their bullshit.
Yeah, and the Mormon Church, I don't know how they count their numbers exactly. There are theories running around. I know that the numbers are definitely bloated, but I don't know what all numbers they're counting. When you get baptized, you officially become a member, but what they don't tell you is that when you do a baby blessing in front of the Mormon Church, in front of the church as a whole, I'm sure that there's a Catholic equivalent, and I don't remember what it is. I think.
Well, the baby blessing, I'm sure, would be the baptism.
Yeah, it would be the christening. But basically, when you do your baby blessing, they actually start your child's file in the Mormon Church, and they give the child a member number, and it goes in the records. And I have heard stories. I have not experienced this myself, but it's collaborated enough with enough people that I trust, of where people had their babies blessed at the church to appease their Mormon family, basically. And then when the child was 8 and turned old enough for them to baptize, the Mormon Church would track them down and say, "Hey, it's time to baptize your kid."
Yeah, and that's kind of what I came to realize in the Catholic Church, is that while I had been baptized, I had never been confirmed, but they had still kept me on record as being a member.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was baptized, and I am not a member. However, I have a file. And when the Strengthening Church Membership Committee starts following me, ready, I plan on giving you a lot to watch. Just letting you know.
Do it.
Oh, I plan on, and it's going to be something that's not really totally terrible, but if I ever fucking get confirmation I'm being watched, I'm going to collaborate with somebody and be like, "Look, help me make the trolliest video you can think of, and let's have them watch this because they have to."
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think I'm being watched yet, but it's only a matter of time, because I have 5 people that I interact with on a regular basis that are already being watched by the committee.
Damn. See, if I caught somebody watching it like that, I would not be gentle at all. I get some person that was passing by to get out their phone, record that shit, or record that shit on my phone, even better. Yeah, and I would confront them. Yeah, if I saw someone trying to watch me through bushes or whatever, I drag their asses out.
They don't need to go through bushes. They follow your internet activity, and since I'm openly openly ex-Mormon. I basically give them all the stuff that they need. They don't know what's going on like offline, because basically they'd have to, in order to catch all of my offline stuff, they'd have to like they don't do the offline stalking right now with me because I have technically a restraining order on them and they can't come within my personal space.
I think it's the general restraining order is usually like 500 yards or something like that.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, what are they going to do? Watch me go into a doctor's office?
Yeah.
I mean, anything.
Oh no, you'll observe me going to work. Oh.
Yeah, it's basically it. That's essentially what it is. Because me going to the doctor's office with my sister is my job. Like, and even so, I only go out maybe once a month with my friends pre-COVID. Like, they're not gonna. I'm not worth looking at offline. It's all my activities online though are up for grabs. It's only a matter. And like I said, I might very well be being monitored on my channel and my Twitter already, but I don't have confirmation of that. So,
I mean, honestly, you should be thanking these people because they're providing you views. But
yeah,
but I mean, like,
yeah,
well, yeah. Honestly,
it's aggravating and I don't like it. But what am I going to be able to do about it? Nothing. I might as well have fun with it.
I mean, like, come on, like, let's assume a pre-COVID world. You know, it's like, oh, what are you gonna do? Record me going into a gigantic fucking orgy? Let's face it, the vast majority of the population, literally anywhere, is boring as shit.
Yeah, like
most people go out occasionally with their friends.
I actually do wish
no one had a roaring good time.
I wish I did have some confirmation though, because it would be fun to toy with the poor people who have to watch me.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can definitely see it as being at the level that they're probably already watching you, but do not think you have big enough following to constitute a threat.
Yeah, that's the thing is I want to be a threat. That is actually a goal. I want that file that they have on me to be thick as hell. I don't necessarily need to have a shitload of subscribers or like a huge following or anything. I just want an annoyingly thick file. And it doesn't have to be the big stuff. It's just
well, I can see that as happening maybe when you get around 500 subscribers, that they'll start to feel that you could grow into something that could bother them.
Yeah.
I remember this was just before I started my channel, like actually full on started my channel. And I'm at the formal defection meeting with the pastor of the church I was baptized at, and he said something about, and that's how I know God exists. And like, I just remember looking at him for a second, and I'm just like, but you don't, do you? You don't know God exists because you have no actual proof. All you have is, well, I feel a thing.
Well, guys, I gotta step out. It's like 3 a.m. now. Almost 3
a.m.
Okay, Kitty, you get some sleep.
Have a good night, everybody.
Hey, PK. Could you shill your content real quick before you go?
I don't have any content to shill.
You
just
have
my Twitter. Pirate Kitty 79 on Twitter.
Well, you can always shill the fact that you'll be on my channel, tomorrow night.
There you go.
I do Purple's Thursday night streams. if you're up in the morning, check out Dave Critical Cripple's Critical Questions. They're pretty fun.
They are. I've done one or two.
Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, sleep well.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting, the things that no, Neil, the 604 atheist, we don't sleep. What the fuck is sleep?
I think that's something that happens over the weekend, but I'm not sure.
I don't know what weekends are.
But yeah, no, the way you're officially supposed to leave the Mormon church is you're supposed to meet with your bishop and your stake president and 10 other men and stand in front of them and have them read off all of the sins that you have committed.
All the sins they committed would take them a long time.
None of them are definitely rubbing themselves under the table that,
Yeah, and then you're given a certain amount of time to defend yourself, and you have 2 people who are allowed to give character witness, and then they throw you out, and then they supposedly deliberate. But anybody with any sense knows that shit's all decided before you even get in there. It's all before you even get in there. And
if you get through the video without saying the phrase kangaroo court at least once, I'll be stumped.
Oh,
okay. No, Neil's going to bed too, so night, Neil.
Take it easy, Neil. And by the way, everyone, about the intro music that I have on my regular videos, Neil the 604 atheist has graciously allowed me to use the clip from one of his songs with his Luminous. So you can find a link to that SoundCloud in pretty much all of my videos and live streams.
Yeah, I caught that in the introduction to a couple of your videos.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I need to get together with Art because Art wants to make something, and that would be helpful as an intro for my videos. But procrastinating and life sucks.
I still have nobody willing to make intro music to my videos.
I know somebody, but I am not capable of making the trade that they asked for at this time. So
yeah, that's my problem, is I don't really have any skills I can offer online to trade to anybody to do videos or graphics.
Yeah, I haven't been able to make anything since March. None of my creative skills are working right now. I'm just that fucked up right now.
Well, all of my skills pretty much require me to be able to physically go to someone's house.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's just it's frustrating for me because I know that a lot of stress relief would happen if I could do my lace making, and I can't. It's just not working. And my scripts usually take me half an hour to write. I am now on 3 weeks on writing a script.
I have several scripts I've been working on for months.
Yeah, but aren't yours more researched and stuff?
Not really. I'm mostly a storyteller. It's not so much research as recalling things that I researched years ago.
That's fair. I cheat. I only talk about what I know. I tried to do something a little bit further outside my wheelhouse, and I will push myself a little bit, but I went too far and I was like, nope, going back to my wheelhouse.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong at all with talking about stuff. That's pretty much all I do. I mean, I do some research, but I don't do a whole lot of research intensive stuff, especially.
Yeah, this is the most research I have done for a video ever. And it's mostly because, like I said earlier, I've forgotten a lot of this shit.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been out of the Catholic, actually out of the Catholic Church. When did I actually stopped being Catholic? When I was 21, 22. So I haven't been Catholic in about 11 years now.
That's about when I stopped considering myself Mormon, was around 23, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I would have gotten out more videos, except that I realized there are some people following me who will call me on my historical research if I don't get it right.
That's actually what.
Well, that's it. Actually, let's imagine this is my catechism, which is up there, and I don't feel like standing up. So let's imagine this. I have one of these, a catechism of the Catholic Church, except this is a much better.
I mean, like the first time I did a World War II piece, I realized that Robert X will call me on it if I get anything wrong.
Probably.
And see, that's partially why I'm so having so much trouble with this particular video that I'm working on, because I know the information. I know it, and on some of these things, on some of it, I'm having to look it up and recall. But there's some stuff that I inherently know because I've done the research, but the thing with a lot of what I deal with is research isn't necessarily going and looking at the Mormon doctrine. A lot of times you have to go to the ex-Mormon community and take the ex-Mormon community at its word. And I'm willing to do that because I know who I'm talking to. I know the experiences. I lived them. But unfortunately, for some people, that's not enough. And I have to determine a lot of the times whether or not I'm going to include something because there is not strict documentation in the strongest sense.
Yeah. I can see that as being a serious problem in your situation.
Yeah, and people who are ex-Mormon who are listening to me will be like, oh yeah, that happens. But for a lot in the atheist community that I deal with, apparently that's not enough, even though that amount of collaboration and not collaboration, but corroboration with people and also remnants from current doctrine that can sort of be linked back is not enough.
Yeah, that personal experience will still be questioned in your situation.
And that sucks because most of what I need to talk about is personal experience. A lot of the abuses in the Mormon church have somewhat to do with doctrine, but it's more personal experience than actual doctrine.
Well, I've run into that to a lesser degree myself because, so many people, it was like a sudden revelation that they became atheist, and mine was more of a very slow, gradual progression.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, there's nothing, if you go and look at what the scriptures and the doctrines say about the temple and what goes on in the temple, it doesn't tell you actually what goes on in the temple. It gives you hints, but it doesn't tell you what goes on. I found out from somebody 3 weeks ago while I was starting to look into some stuff. I found out from one of our biggest voices in the ex-Mormon community, our resident historian, that they were still doing the naked initiatories, or the naked underneath the poncho, which had open sides, so you could kind of see initiatories until like 2015 or 2013 or something. I was like, that was that recent? I thought they got rid of that at the same time as they did like the mimicking your death crap from the 90s. And he basically said, no, that was still going. And I said, so they got rid of the mimicking the ways you'll kill yourself if you tell temple secrets, but they kept the initiatories? And he said, yeah. And I'm going, the fuck?
Well, and that's...
I'll take him at his word because I know him. He's well known and he does his research and he's lived that experience. But I know many atheists wouldn't.
Well, and that's especially where it comes to the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm realizing how little I knew about them, before joining the YouTube atheist community.
Oh, dude, I've been in the atheist community on YouTube for about 2 years now, and I still conflate the two. I know I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Well,
I still do that a lot too.
My brain still mixes the two up.
Jehovah's Witnesses are a couple of decades apart from the Mormons, but they were built underneath the same movement. There was what was it called? There was a religious movement where like people got super into religion. There were revivals and like people trying to convert everybody and being like, no, leave your church, come to my church. Like it was a big deal, and I can't remember what it's called. It happened during like the 1820s through the 1860s. The Great Revival, the American Great Revival. And those two churches actually started up in America during the Great Revival. So while there are a lot of differences, a lot of the attitudes and influences are the same. And so I can see why people from the outside would conflate the two. Because Nacha and I have had several conversations where we're like, okay, the rituals are really, really different, but a lot of the attitudes are the same.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I've been seeing is that there's a lot of the same base, but they went off in different directions.
Yeah, because like the Watchtower runs quite similarly to how the Mormon First Presidency and the Quorum of the 12 do. There's not a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is now 3:00 where I live, and I am hungry. I've literally only had a sandwich today. So,
well, that's what you get for living in the wrong time zone. You should live here, and you have another hour yet.
Oh yeah, that's totally how time works. But yeah, if each of you could chill out your channels real quick before hopping off. Purple is filing his nails, so Tria, you go first.
Sure. Hi, I'm Triatiel. If you're watching this, what's wrong with you? It's 3 a.m. Come on, everybody, go to bed.
You're not wrong.
Anyways, I occasionally do the YouTubes, sometimes every couple of months or so. I'm actually currently working on a real video this time. Yeah. But please, if you haven't watched my channel before, please go back and watch my videos. The ones that I do have are really, really good. I'm very proud of them. I am currently working on a video about Mormonism and the NAACP, and their weird partnership. Yeah, the look on Bub's face says it all.
They would not have gotten along initially. Or am I thinking German?
They're kind of not getting along right now. Let me
guess all lives matter.
Yeah, I can say this without giving a lot away about the video. The NAACP is saying, we partnered up with you because you had a lot of money, resources, and you have a loyal base that'll basically do whatever you say. And we thought we'd get more out of this arrangement. And we're finding out that you're more talk than you are actual action. And I'm going a little bit deeper into why the Mormon Church technically can't do more without throwing certain things under the bus that they can't throw under the bus. So that's what that video will be about. But anyways, I occasionally do the YouTube, sometimes about once every 3 months. So there you go.
All right. Perp, shill yourself shamelessly.
Well, more talk than actual action probably sums up my channel pretty well. On Wednesdays at noon Central Standard Time and Thursdays at midnight Central Standard Time, I do just kind of casual hangouts with whoever shows up. I do an edited video maybe once every 3 or 4 months. I managed to get one out from Juneteenth, so expect another one maybe sometime in the fall. That's about it for me.
All right. Well, I'm feeling pretty hungry. I'm sure my 2 co-hosts here are either feeling hungry or sleepy. It's genuinely hard to tell since they're both in the past relative to me. And very stable milking stool is saying it's even worse in the future. So at least we all know that we're all fucked anyway.
Yay!
This has been fun.
In a literal sense, I used that when the Y2K thing was going down. I figured if we followed the New Year's Day in London, we would have a 6 hours advance over if anything was going to fall apart for us.
Yeah, the worst thing I heard of was some dude at Blockbuster had like a $2 billion late fee.
Yeah. And then the Blockbuster was like, nah, dude, it's fine.
Like that, there is no way this is real. It's a computer glitch. Don't worry about it. And now that I've managed to severely date myself and Treya by extension, I'm going to go ahead and click on end broadcast here. Thank you both for coming, and thank you, PK, for being part of the conversation, and everybody in the chat.
Okay, good night all. See you later.
Right.
Take it easy, everybody.